Players Forum is your source for informative basketball talk about mentorship, education, and community. The ball is in your court. This is your Players Forum.
What up, world? I'm Coach Mike.
And it's Agent T, and you're now tuned in to episode 7 of the Players Forum. I don't know why I look at you when I say each episode.
That's our time. That's when we get it cracking.
Yeah, that's our thing. How are you, Coach Mike?
I'm great. How are you, Agent T?
I'm pretty good. Had a really good week this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Very productive week this week.
Yes. I like productive weeks.
Yeah, me too.
Hope you guys are doing good. Glad you're tuning in to episode 7.
7. We've been at this for a little bit now, huh?
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
Ooh, I mean, I don't have time to really sit and think about it because we just constantly,
Working.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
I like productivity.
Okay, anyway, so last week we were talking about the future of basketball, the industry overseas, and how basketball job opportunities right now are a little scarce.
Yeah.
So being in these current, times of COVID, a lot of teams are only taking veterans. There's not a lot of startup jobs right now available.
I know that sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks, but it is what it is, and on top of that, these veteran players are getting paid less.
Oh yeah, it's major budget cuts.
They're getting top dollar. So
yeah, I know some guys that lost about 60% of their pay from the year before.
Yeah,
it's been crazy.
It really sucks. But anyways.
Yeah, so I thought it would be a good idea for us to continue that discussion. Okay, on the Players Forum, and share some thoughts and advice on how to give guys a start to prepare now for the next phase in their career.
Yes.
Yeah. We need to start talking about stuff like that right now.
Yes. That's why it's never too early to start thinking about the future, whether you are a rookie at the peak of your career or on your way out as a vet. I think it's really, really important, especially given the, current climate now.
Right.
And if you're having trouble trying to figure it all out, believe me, you are not alone. So we thought that, we shared like these tidbits of advice to possibly help kind of put things into perspective on how or where to start. But before we get into those things, I want to kind of ask you about your transition, Coach Mike. I know early on, in your basketball career, I mean, we didn't know, but you were actually kind of gaining invaluable experience, working with youth before you even really realized that that's what you were doing.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. So I think everything started for me throughout the years of my playing days were doing school visits, going to the community, visiting classrooms and reading books to kids and going to local libraries. That started for me originally in Australia, my rookie season. Mm-hmm. So, shout out to Kurt Penner. He was a guy that was part of the community relations team for the Tasmanian Thunder. So my roommate, Nye Shantiz, he just kind of paraded us around the little town. And we went to every public appearance you can imagine to, of course, get our faces out there and let, the community know that we're here and what to be in store for the season. Right. So
and who knew too, not to cut you off, but remember you guys did that like promo commercial on the radio?
A beer commercial. Crazy.
Oh, was it a beer commercial?
That was a Aussie beer commercial for the arena.
That's preparation for what we're doing now.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. So I got a lot of experience from that. And then, further along, not just that year, but of course years later, I was always the guy that my teammates would push in front of the group to start talking. I hated it at first, but I had to be fearless. Right. And at the time, I didn't know that I was working on my public speaking. Yep. You know what I mean? So I became more comfortable after a while talking to large groups of kids or audiences all together. So now, if you look at to where I'm at today, I've done like over 300 youth camps and clinics and community center events. I worked for the Los Angeles Clippers youth program for 4 years. And now personally, I'm a head coach and I do consulting for programs around the city of LA. So it's pretty dope. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I knew you always wanted to work with the younger generation, but at that point in time, you didn't really know what path to take to get you there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then came great gain athletics.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the industry at hand. You've got the NBA industry where they're like programs and everything kind of set up for you to transition successfully out of the NBA career.
Right.
But there's not really anything set up for guys who play overseas. At least I'm not aware of any of those things.
Me neither. I'm not too aware of it. I've always been stuck in my own world as far as creating a path for myself personally. Mm-hmm. But yes, once we great game come along, just to kind of move a little bit in between for what you're talking about as far as the NBA is concerned, I always wanted to just kind of put something together for players like myself. Mm-hmm. That was the whole thing for GGA, was to kind of give us some type of platform and just something for us all to be able to come together, share ideas, share workouts, just be a part of that whole group setting. Right. Now, with like you're saying, what the NBA has done, the NBPA, Players Association, they have always had, at least from what I've known, is the entry level, the rookie stuff. Right. Coming in to the rookies and talk to them about money management and entourage and all that stuff, preparing yourself for that life. But now they have an exit strategy as well now, where they're setting guys up and teaching them how to coach. That's something that I've seen in the past.
Yeah, and I read something actually with Google, or NBA players going to like an internship, at Google.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that's big, you know what I mean? Especially if you have interest in technology like that. That's a great, internship, you know. But the fact of the matter is that there isn't, as far as I know, anything set up for guys. So we feel like, and even running the program, we were all about mentorship and not really, we didn't really have an exit strategy for guys, no. Guys who,
because I was just kind of working on mine.
Right. Very true. Very true. But we were thinking about that part of it too. How can we further help guys, transition out of the program to, jumpstart their career. And, the next phase was for me to get my license so we could further help them. But then, what about guys who, want to, who have a career going on, or who want to go into a different lane and maybe not just play basketball? How can we further help them? So we came up with these, like I said, tidbits of advice to kind of help push guys along the path that we feel like they should go to, enter into whatever field that they're interested in. So the first one which is obvious, but it's education. First of all, finish school. I know I know plenty of people who majored in a certain field but actually didn't pursue that career path or whatever. I get it, but my point is to educate yourself and learn as much as you can about whatever you're interested in early on. Start exploring that early on. A lot of guys were like leaving JUCO early to go play basketball,
which was crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Yeah, you're right. Actually, that was just this past summer. Yeah, where I was involved in a combine for fourth quarter sports. Shout out to them. And I had a group of guys that were from junior college and thought that they was ready to play the game at the next level, play professional. But again, stay in school, man. Get more of that education, not just on the paper, but just with the game too.
Yeah, yeah. Get degrees, certificates, early on vocational training, whatever it is, licensing. I know you got your scholastic license. Yeah,
interscholastic certifications. You got to have that in Los Angeles to coach LA basketball, high school basketball. So I made sure that I got little stuff like that, just in case I wanted to get involved in high school coaching and things like that. I'm already certified for that kind of stuff.
And is there any, like, for guys who want to go into coaching in programs or coaching at school, is there anything else that they would need? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
'Cause I
lot
know
of
you
little
were-
stuff. I mean, if you want your CPR, that kind of stuff,
Right.
you can have that. I think that was always good. I actually have that as well as far as
Right.
my CPR certification.
And it was something with a license, USA basketball license.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
could pay for that. That's just
Yeah.
cool to just have because you
Right.
just never know. So yeah, you pay that little $60 to get your USA basketball license as
Right.
well.
Yeah, my point is, it's just anything that stamps you to show that you've invested, in your future. It's always a good look, and it'll be a lot easier. You'll be able to capitalize when the opportunity presents itself. That the saying goes, "Stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready." So. Just get that education. I know, you always have a thing that you say,
Yes,
as far as,
the
yes.
Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
That's a real deal, man. Be prepared for any occasion. If you're the
Right.
Swiss Army knife, man, then you got everything that's in one hand. To be able to, get yourself to wherever you need to be. You'll be ready for it.
Absolutely. So number 2 for me, and we've talked about this more and more lately, but it's about growth mindset. You have some step by steps, as far as getting to the next level, but then it's also about your mindset. I always stress growing your circle of influence, and what I mean by that is using your energy, especially now given the current state of this pandemic, to kind of focus on the things that you can influence in your life. The same way you would work on your game, shooting in the gym, it's the same way that you should be working on your future. If that means surrounding yourself, with like-minded people or
Yes.
mentors who could kind of
It's major.
show you the way or put you in position to succeed, that's what you want to start doing.
Yep.
You can't be a guy that is playing the game and hanging out and not picking up a book to read, going to the club and but not figuring out a way to actively involve yourself in personal development and growth. And I know with even Coach Mike, I've seen that with you over the years, just constantly trying to become a better version of yourself, and that's really helped you with putting you in position to be able to mentor guys like you or whatever.
You gotta fix yourself first, man. I mean, educate, read books, feed the brain.
Yeah. And some of your mentors, Sean Rooks, definitely, but he always, had a positive, word,
Always.
advice,
Always,
just
not
encouraging.
one time. He has always spoken to me and spoke about you as well, just checking on us. But man, God rest his soul, man. That was just tough to talk about him sometimes. But
Right.
yeah, I definitely remember a time with Sean would tell me, just like you said, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, and that was just his big deal. Like, man, you always in shape. Stay in shape, baby. You always got to be in shape. And that was one thing I always prided myself on, is always being in shape, being ready. Never going to see me down.
And that echoes throughout the years of, and that's what I'm talking about as far as, making sure you have a growth mindset. Because if you're not there, then you're not going to get there physically. But if you're there mentally, it makes things, it gives you a lot more clarity. And you become more receptive to things that are positive and that can put you in a better position in life. So moving on, I digress a little bit.
Good.
Number 3, I think, is about volunteering. Gaining experience in your area of interest. Internships, like we were talking earlier before, are really good. But just it's about paying your dues. I remember in Eric Perry's episode where he talked about his come up and how he sacrificed driving for 4 hours just to volunteer, his time. But also he used that time to network with people who can put him in position. He, was asking questions, said, I don't want anything, I just want to network
with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's real deal.
So
right there.
important that don't look at volunteer as, you wasting your time or anything like that.
No, man, it's a real sacrifice to, what you want on the longer run. You know what I mean? Again, for us basketball players, one day this is going to stop.
Right.
And you don't have any control over when it's gonna stop.
Right. And then another way to look at it too is, you guys go and play in these pro-am, leagues and go play pickup ball. And you're not getting paid for that. You may be pursuing a career and you eventually want to get paid, but you're in a sense, investing your time into, creating a network of guys that are on the same page where you can work out with them, network as far as like, who's your agent or whatever.
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff. It is the fun stuff, but look at it that way. You're doing the same thing on your business aspect of it, on your profession, something that you're interested in after basketball. So
I want to add to that because what I've always saw is, and even include myself, because I'm no different at the time, we don't like to handle business too much. You know what I mean? Just keep it G, man. We don't like to handle business too much as far as like, you will want somebody else to do that for you. You just want to just focus on working out. I want to play. I want to get this together. But again, Swiss Army knife, man. Be prepared for all that stuff. Be that smart basketball player. Again, we don't like naive basketball players that don't know anything about the business and those kind of things.
Haven't invested.
Yeah, man.
Time.
Get it done. Mm-hmm. Really take that time. Like you said, the same time that we take into hours in the gym or just going over to play basketball somewhere else, sacrifice one of them days to get some work done.
Yeah, handle your business.
Yeah, for real.
And then keep in mind too, and this kind of brings me to number 4, is that your player profile is technically your professional, resume.
Yes.
And I always tell guys to make a copy of it and save it as your resume template. So when it's time to move into the next phase of your career, you've had the applied experience, the accolades, your skills and abilities that you've developed along the way, not just the in-between gigs. I know you used to do security every summer or whatever
for 10 years too.
Yeah.
Every single year. That was my hustle, man.
Right, but there was a lot of experience that came out of that. And on top of that, your playing career, there was a lot of skills. So you combining those two together.
Yeah. Talking to people.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes.
It was just
handling
about
conflict
being able
resolution.
to, being able to do that, man. And then again, don't have no shame in working a job in between years, man. You know, don't be afraid of that. Get
that job experience.
Get that money.
On and off the court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely for sure. Well, I would like to also add guys to kind of pay attention to your involvement in all kind of different activities that you get involved in. You know what I mean? Especially if they're related to your aspirations. You know what I'm saying? Write this stuff down. Write it down, talk about the experience that you had from it, and then when you're around these type of people, get letters of recommendation, from these coaches, your general managers, owners, whatever that you're involved in at the moment. Make sure you get something from that so that you can put that on your resume for later.
Mm-hmm. And like Coach always says, and this is not really a tip again, this is just about a mindset. Be fearless. This isn't, like I said, it isn't really a tip, but there's a quote that I love by this, I think she's an artist, her name is Florence Shen, and as a matter of fact, I need to buy her book. It's called The Game of Life. I don't think she's talking about basketball. The Game of Life and how to play it. And I need to get that book so I can add it to your book collection. He's really into books right now, and maybe we'll eventually add that to a segment like book reviews. Dive into those conversations. I got one
right now come to mind. For sure. Yeah, The Mindful Athlete by George Mumford. I love that book.
Yes.
Actually, that was our book of the summer last year.
Right.
That's a side note too. If anybody doesn't know that, for the viewers and listeners, Great Game Pro Club has a book of the summer every single summer. So not only are guys getting what they need on the floor, again, still trying to feed that brain, man. Feed that brain and read a book this summer. How many guys are actually reading a book and playing in the Drew League?
Right. I think we mentioned that in another episode.
I'm sure we did. It don't matter.
Some things we might have to, we may be reiterating in other episodes, if that's okay,
Of course.
If you with it, you with it. But back to the quote. The quote says, nothing stands between man and his highest ideas, but and every desire of his heart but doubt and fear. When a man can wish without worrying, every desire will instantly be fulfilled. So that's more on the law of attraction. But in other words, if you don't have it all figured out, you may not know what the next move may be, but if you start envisioning what you want your future to be, then you can conquer. Then you've conquered half the battle. The rest is really up to you to start laying down that path. So hopefully this kind of gives you guys some inspiration, motivation of where to start. So any final words, Coach Mike?
Yeah.
You sound so sad.
Nah, not even. I mean, again, because I felt like I said it earlier, just about handling our business.
Yeah.
I'm really, really huge on these young black men, especially being able to handle their business, being able to just continue to move forward, be fearless. Like I always say, be fearless, man. Go out and push for what you want.
Right.
Okay. Never settle for less, and always understand what your worth is.
Right. And you have a big mentor right here, guys, especially, guys from our program or that have been reaching out to us. Don't blow up his phone, but I'm just saying he's available, to kind of talk more in depth, especially if you're kind of trying to figure things out as far as your next move. He can definitely hear your story and kind of give you guidance. Eventually, like I said, we want to add more things to, Great Gain Athletics to help guys, transition after basketball as well. And then I know we're going to be having some guests that's going to be, giving
I got some
great
great guest friends that are just ready to talk about this story, man. I got one guy who has an amazing organization. I'm not going to reveal his name yet because I want to have him on, but he really has an amazing story and what he has done after basketball.
It's a few guys.
And while he was playing basketball as well, too.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why it's so important is if you can't start, early on, start while you playing. Start while your career is hot, because that is the right time to start thinking and preparing for your transition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're in an era right now where you could do a lot of things marketing-wise for yourself.
Oh, yeah. So. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get into that, too.
But,
definitely going to get into that.
Yeah. But appreciate you guys hanging out with us and tuning in. We're going to see you in the next episode. Make sure you follow us. Got to say that. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at great_gain_athletics. And I'm sure, like I said, it's probably popping up right now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And make sure when you do subscribe that you hit the notification bell on YouTube so you can get that notification when an episode drops on the weekend.
Yes, because a few people have been saying that they haven't been getting the notification. You know how YouTube is. It happens on my other channel too. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell, like, comment, share this with anyone that you feel like it will help them. Inspiration, motivation, informative, educational, whatever, just put the word out there for us. All right.
I'll see y'all on the next one.
Come on, we got to do it. Peace. Wait.
Peace.
1, 2, 3.
Peace.
Yes. This podcast series is part of the Great Gain Athletics, Inc. organization and is brought to you in part by the creative producers at the Sultry Group. There's an art to connecting souls. Digital media content creation for the arts and souls.